Alright, welcome everyone. I'm going to be going over a few different items that I got from Roro Lure. That's a company I got a spool from. That's this shallow spool that I did a review on in the Alpha's Air TW. Super great spool for stream casting. I did a little bit of lake fishing with it. I didn't record that, but it still got really good results. It was a little bit windy, and it still controlled the wind and got good distance. I just don't have much line on here because I have it for stream fishing, so really line capacity is my biggest issue with this spool so far. But I ordered some stuff from Roro Lure. I got another spool. Um, it's a different spool, two different brake rotors. So I will have a second Roro spool for this Alpha Air TW that I'm going to test out. And also I got some bearings. The bearings seem pretty good. They seem like almost like how like you would for like Hedgehog or ZPI. Like I've never used them, but I know what the prices last. They're about last I checked, they're about $8 a bearing. So I got a couple for my Alpha's Air TW. Then also I'll be swapping bearings with my Tatula, my 2020 Tatula SV, just to see how the difference is with some of those bearings. See how loud they are. See if you can cast lighter lures or cast further, stuff like that. So those videos will be coming out in the future. But without taking up too much more time, I'm going to go over opening up this box real quick. I took the labels off, just shipping address and stuff like that. I got some tools too. They had tools like bearing check to like spin your bearings if after you clean them. Oh, there's a spool. Okay, pretty. There's no shipping label in there, but I did get an email and it shipped out pretty quick. I think it was total. I'd have to look back at my emails, but I think it was like 6 days or something like that. And it did get stuck in Hong Kong for a little bit. That's where they're based out of. Alright, so it looks like they put all the bearings in one bag here. And then, what is that? Oh, those are parts to the, I also got a bearing remover. It looks like it's a little bit, looks like it's pretty decent quality. This is the most, like, other than the spool, this is the most expensive item. This is like $16. Which it seems like they're reducing the price on some of their stuff too. They're a new company, so I think they're just trying to figure out their pricing strategy. These are some of the other tools here too. So I got the bearing. This is a bearing check. So how that works, I think I have a bearing around here somewhere. Yeah, this is a ZPI bearing that I think got corroded. But how it works, if you can see that, so it's almost like it's tiered. There's different steps there, and what you do after cleaning your bearing, right? You soak it in acetone, or you do however you clean your bearings, and then you put it down, and it fits on there, like pretty snug, and then you'd spin it like that to like get all the cleaning agents out of there, and also you can do a good thorough rinse. Or if you're using a TSI 321, it's like that. It creates like a friction reducing film inside your bearings. That would be a good way to apply that as well. But it seems pretty good quality. Seems like it's good aluminum. It's the branding on there, the Roro branding. Seems like it's gonna be pretty durable on there, but I mean it fits its job. I didn't check a bunch of different bearings on that, and this isn't gonna be like a full review video anyway. I will test this though. So dumping this out, comes with a couple different pins in there. You might not be able to see it, but oh, are those spare pins for a reel? No, I think they go inside. Yeah, they go inside the screw here. That feels like good quality too. Feels like it's aluminum, but like the threads aren't really sloppy. I bought a what brand was that? I think it was Ray's, and it felt really awkward. Like it was really loose, and like there's a pin that could fall out. They even lube this thing too. Might have to wipe off a little bit of the excess grease, but look, they put grease in there. I don't know if you can see that, but like I said, this was like $16, which I know like the Boca bearings one's pretty expensive, and some other options are expensive. But I figured I was already placing an order here, and I got free shipping, so I just figured I'd try them out. So I will try that out. I have to kind of figure out how that works more. I didn't really do that kind of research, but I will post a short video on how that works. Let me put that aside. This tool here, this was pretty inexpensive too. But this is to get the knobs out. So on the sides of your knobs, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a little hole. And what this does is it just hooks in here like this. Put it in there. You can pull, and it pulls out at a 90-degree angle, so you're not scraping up the sides or trying to use a pin or like a safety pin or whatever else. It creates a lot more. It's a lot easier for the job, I could tell you that, because I've done that before, like trying to use other objects besides this actual tool, and sometimes you mess up the caps on your reel, and it looks pretty disgusting afterward. So this also, I mean, like where this steel hits this aluminum, I'm gonna see how. I mean, I don't know how they joined it in there, but it's pretty solid. It's not a precision tool, so I'm not really too worried. But I don't see that failing. This is actually something I was pretty excited to try. So this thing, it's a little wrench. It's made out of a polymer or a plastic of some sort. It has 11 millimeter and 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is what most of your reels are going to take. I do want to try that. It looks, in theory, it should work. It has enough surface area, so it's not really going to strip out at all. What that does is prevents you from scraping up your nut. I have a few reels that from using a socket that after a few sessions of cleaning them, relubing them and such, that it actually mars up the nut a little bit. So this tool, it was cheap. I think this was like $2 or something like that. It's definitely worth the pickup, especially if you're just going to order a spool. I'd suggest getting one of them if it does work. I'm going to go over a full review video on these tools too. This is just a good way to save money. I like performance. I also don't like to pay money for it if I don't have to. And then this is the other spool. I'm gonna insert this inside the. This is different than the one I have now. I think, I don't know. That's the problem. I ordered mine from my first spool from AliExpress, and the descriptions are kind of vague, and I don't know. I probably should not have done that, because I think I was supposed to be getting like the fast model, and they ended up sending me the thick and brake model. But I'm not entirely sure. Oh no, it's thinner. Definitely thinner inductor. Good. So this is the fast model that I've been using. They'll say standard for senior players or advanced players on the Roro website. And the one that I ordered was the thickened one. So I'm actually really glad, because this spool is fast, like I was saying in that review video. And if there's a faster spool out there, you'd have to be really good. Like, I'm not saying I'm like the best BFS caster out there, but I'd say that I can cast pretty good. And if there's a spool that's faster than this spool that I was using right here that still has control, I'd be very amazed. So I'm kind of glad to be able to use two different spools. I'm going to use this for crappie and like a little bit bigger jigs. Let's see how that goes. I will be doing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to fish for trout. It's getting late in the year for me, so I'm going to try this for some trout. See how that goes. What else did I get? Oh, these bearings. Hey, I could use the bearing spin to see how it goes. So the bearing size, they have a whole bunch of different bearing sizes, and how they do it on their website, it's pretty easy. I felt, especially for a foreign website, they're based out of Hong Kong, that there's some some typographical errors, of course, just translation or whatever reason, but it was pretty easy to navigate. That's like I was able to see that there's two different types of spools there, which then that kind of got me worried with my AliExpress order. And then also, like for the bearing sizes, they have a bunch of different reels listed out, and they also sell them by kits. So you can get, like, say for each side of your spool, or you get them individually. And that's kind of how I did it, just because I have a couple different reels that I wanted to try out. So this is one of their like finesse bearings here, and like I said, they're about $8 a piece, so it's not bad price at all. If these do work, I know the one on this spool here worked pretty good. It wasn't super loud, and it seemed like it worked really good with light lures. So I don't think I'm gonna be too concerned with the quality of these lures. I mean these bearings. Yeah, those actually spin quite a bit. And how I really test the quality of a bearing is watching the end of the spin. I mean, you can see if it wobbles, but if it comes to like a slow stop, like kind of how this did, that's how you know it's really going to help you. There's some that they'll spin a long time because the outsides are heavy, and then when they spin like that, they have so much mass that it just keeps it going, almost like you have a bowling ball rolling down. But how this bearing ended was actually pretty acceptable. Like I said, for these bearings, I'm not looking to go for a far distance. And most of these bearings are rated up to 10 grams. It's kind of odd that bearings would be rated. Let's see, this is the 834. Yeah, they do label them. So this is how it is like before I opened it. They just wrote it in there. I'm sure eventually that they're going to have like labels and such, but they are a newer company. I know that they were making spools for a little bit, but then they started getting into the... Let me see if these... I want to see one thing, because I don't see a clip. Yeah, they're secured in there. Okay, there must be a clip on the other side. Yeah, there's... I don't see any concern with these bearings. Those are ceramic. Let me put it back in the correct bag. I'm not going to test each one out. I just want to save some time. I just want to kind of give you guys a heads up as to what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be testing these bearings out in the Tatula SV, the 2020 model. And also I'll be testing them out in the Alphas Air right here. This is the new one that I've... Really great reel. I suggest that you watch those other review videos I have of it. I'd say for the money, it's actually really good. Like the stock spool is good by itself. Like these Roro spools, like at least this one so far, this is the fast model. So this one's 4.5 grams with the bearing. The thickened model for like it says for beginners or for like all around. This is 4.9 grams. That's ridiculously light. And they have about half the spool capacity of the normal spool, which for most BFS applications, I'm not using the entire 50 meters of 8-pound line anyway. That's kind of like your standard BFS. So if you want to see more of this stuff in action, just let me know. You can comment down below if you want to see any specifics about these items when I do the review videos coming up. But I do want to get out. I want to test the different spool, of course. That's my number 1 goal. And then I also want to test these bearings and see if they make casting a little bit better. And if they're definitely worth it, then I'll share it. I'm not going to share products that I don't think are worth it. So that's why I'm testing these out. Seemed like a good affordable option. I know that I emailed the customer service a few times back and forth, and they're really responsive. Helped me out. That's kind of how I made sure that I got the thickened brake model instead of the thinner brake model. So if you're interested in that stuff, watch up on Instagram too. I'm going to be putting little videos up there. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for see how all this stuff works. Thanks.